Hey, what's up guys? Mirai here with a quick tip on how to go about checking for frame rate bottlenecks on your system. Now this video will not show you how to get the most out of your system's hardware, it's just a quick overview for identifying bottlenecks. And regardless of whether you use ISBoxer or not, most of this video will still apply. So on the Tweak Your Frame Rate page of the ISBoxer wiki, there's a subsection that covers how to identify frame rate bottlenecks. It suggests that you download a program called Open Hardware Monitor, so I've done just that. I've extracted it from its zip folder, I've loaded it up, and here we are. Now my program probably has less crap being displayed in it than yours does because I've shut off some sensors like my motherboard, my fan controllers, and my disk drives. We don't really care about those for this video because the wiki tells us that we should be looking at our CPU, our GPU, and our RAM. Not only system RAM, but video RAM as well. I'd also like to mention that you may want to monitor the temperature of your components because when hardware gets too hot, it tends to throttle down to a lower speed to keep itself cool, which can easily impact performance. I'm not going to purposely overheat my hardware for this demonstration, but it's something that you may want to keep an eye on. So to start this off, I'm going to load up one slot of my character set to show how to read what's happening in this program. After the slot is launched, you'll see that my CPU load, GPU load, system RAM, and video RAM have all increased. The amount that these values increase is dependent on many different things, but generally it's the video settings you're running, the resolution of the game clients, what is actually happening on screen, the frame rate at which the game clients are running, and last but not least, the actual game you're playing. Now, if I load up a second slot, these values will rise yet again, and this will continue to happen until all of the game clients are fully loaded. Loading a few game clients at a time and monitoring your hardware like this is a good method for determining how many clients your system can potentially handle. However, I'm only demonstrating this on the login screen at the moment, so let me show a quick example of actual gameplay. Now here I am in-game running at 60 frames per second, but I'm indoors. You can see that my GPU is already maxed out, but everything still seems to be running okay. However, when I begin to move toward the exit, where more character models and more environmental textures begin to load, my frame rate starts to drop and gets cut by about 2/3. My CPU isn't entirely maxed out, but my GPU definitely cannot handle what's happening on screen at the moment because it's being pushed beyond its limits. In this case, my GPU would be the bottleneck. Generally, the quick fix for any frame rate related issues is to either lower your video settings or limit your frames per second, but it can also help to adjust your CPU affinity as well. ISBoxer has a built-in wizard specifically for adjusting both your frame rate and CPU affinity, but if you want to make any manual adjustments, then you can just go into each slot of your character set, click on the Performance tab, and make the changes in there as you please. In addition to what I've quickly covered in this video, there are also a handful of other possible fixes listed on the same wiki page, so I suggest reading over them as well. Hopefully this will give you an idea for where to begin looking for a possible bottleneck that you may have on your system. Now there's one last thing that I do want to talk about, and that's the logging feature of Open Hardware Monitor. There are numerous monitoring programs that are available, and I personally use a handful of them, but it can be tedious to share that information with other people because you're either uploading a bunch of screenshots or you forget to enable logging from the beginning. With Open Hardware Monitor, you just have to have the program open and running, and whatever your hardware does during that time will be logged. You can access that log by opening the File menu and then choosing to save the report to a text file. Or, alternatively, you can choose to submit the report and a window will pop up with all of the same information. You can then copy and paste that information into your favorite paste site, which you can then share that URL with someone else who might be able to help assess what's going on. Well, I'd say that about covers everything there is to get you started with troubleshooting your own frame rate bottlenecks. And if you have any further questions, comments, or concerns, please visit the ISBoxer forum or the live chat.